There's a bit of a hyper focus that comes whenever you really decide to plant your feet in the ground and say, I'm going to be successful no matter what. There's a retraining that happens. There's a refocusing that happens. There should be an all hands on deck type of response. And whenever you do make a paradigm shift, a life-changing shift to say that I want more for my life, I want to do more for my life, that typically comes with you overhauling everything else in your life. Maybe friends, sometimes family, definitely typically your job will be overhauled in that pursuit. In the middle of shifting, in the middle of overhauling everything, I know that there's something that I typically like to do is I like to measure the people that are around me. And when it comes to measuring the people around me, I like to look at it like, okay, so in the next 6 months, in the next 5 years, whatever it is, I'm not going to be the same person that I was. I'm going to be completely different. Like I'm hoping to grow. I am intentional about growth. So while I'm intentional about growth, I measure the people around me to see, are you also trying to grow? Are you trying to be something more than you are? And if you aren't, typically you might get overhauled as well in the process. But do I have it wrong? Do high achievers in that instance also have it wrong? Let's talk about it.
Marathon, yeah, say that to me, yeah, say that to me, oh marathon, you can say that to me, yeah, say that, you can say that to me, marathon. Yeah,
please like, share, and subscribe, and as always, this episode is brought to you by Nutrishop Parker. It is your one-stop shop for high-quality supplements, protein powders, and wellness products that actually deliver. Whether you're building muscle, burning fat, or just trying to feel better every day, Nutrishop's expert team can help you find what works best for you. If you're local to Colorado, stop by their Parker location for a personalized experience. And if you are tuning in anywhere in the USA, use code Brandon at checkout for free shipping on your order. Fuel your goals the right way, the Nutrishop way. All right, let's go. I can't speak for anybody else besides me, but when it comes to high-level success, it feels like it takes every single thing that I have. And I'm happy to give it. But that doesn't change the fact that it's very difficult to become more than what you are. And there's a philosophy that I do like to live by that you can only get more if you are more. As I'm demanding it from myself, I do find myself demanding it from the people around me because I really don't want to even see laziness anymore, right? Does this make sense? I don't want to see any type of bad behavior anymore. I don't want to see 5 years ago Brandon. I don't want to see 2 weeks ago Brandon. I want to see all behaviors reflect who I currently am becoming and who I want to be. So in the process of looking for people who are going to help me become more of who I am, the best version of myself, I do find myself measuring people around me for the positives, and I guess this video is also showcasing that it could possibly be for the negative, because one thing I had not thought about until recently is that the generation that we're in is all about entrepreneurship. It's about working for yourself. It's about being your own boss and creating something with your own hands and no longer working for someone else. But is that a problem? Are we dealing with a situation where there are some people who are here to help you get to where you want to go? Like, not everybody wants to create the next billion-dollar product. Not everybody wants to be the face of an empire or be the CEO of a company, because it's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of heartache when it comes to chasing entrepreneurship, when it comes to chasing greatness. So again, another philosophy that I'd like to live by is, if everybody's great, then no one's great, because that's just the baseline. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So as I am measuring people, I'm starting to realize there might be an instance where I now have a clearer understanding of why people do not want to be great. A clear understanding of why people do not chase greatness, do not want to self-improve, because there's a lot of weird negativity. It reminds me of the old saying, and there's a lot of old sayings in this video. It reminds me of the old saying, if you put if you put like I might be butchering the old saying, but an analogy I heard a long time ago, which might be dumb, but an analogy I heard was if you put a fish in a classroom with a piece of paper and say, write an essay, the fish is going to look really dumb. But if you put a fish in water and say, swim, it's going to look like a genius, right? So in the pursuit of greatness, I think I have to start understanding, and I think it is worth understanding that not everybody wants what you want. Not everybody wants to self-improve. And I used to really look at that person like a negative, like, why don't you want more for yourself? Why aren't you trying harder? But it may just not be their call. If everybody's a CEO, who's going to do the groundwork? Who's going to do the actual heavy lifting? Like, not everybody can sit back and be a thinker, which I would assume rightfully assume that a lot of these CEOs, a lot of these entrepreneurs at high levels are really just thinkers. They sit around and think. Like Steve Jobs, for an example, is a great one, because he didn't sit there and just work on meticulous coding, and he didn't sit there with the graphic arts tool and designed it. He designed the iPhone and the iMac and things like that. He dictated and he thought and he used creativity and he innovated with his mind and then hired smart people who could do it with their hands. And none of them are more valuable than the other, right? We always pedestalize visionaries, and I think rightfully so. We do pedestalize visionaries. But in the same instance of having a visionary, we also have to understand that a vision without work, a vision without the hands, a vision without the team is just as useless as having no vision, right? So as I am sitting around, as I'm looking and trying to love my fellow man better, I really am increasingly enjoying the idea that there might be something to this entrepreneurship wave. It might actually be a fad. I think in the same way that working out is now like a fitness culture, I think it might be a fad. Of course, it's a great fad because health is wealth. Like, please be in the gym, please work out. I don't care if you're a teenager on a machine taking forever. I am so glad that you are in the gym. I'm so glad that you're not on the streets or doing whatever, we used to do with outside of being in the gym. But this entrepreneurship thing, it really feels like it's a fad that is damaging people. This whole self-improvement, like, do you want it as bad as you want to breathe? I think for other people, that is a great message, a great call. But for some people, I really feel like it's can cause very negative mental side effects with that. Not that I'm like a huge advocate of like coddling certain things, but I do think that not everybody is a fish and not everybody wants to swim. So as I'm kind of sitting with those ideas and as I'm really mulling it over, I think, as always, these videos are just something to think about. I'm not really dictating. I'm not calling for change. I'm not asking people to take it easy on people who want to be less than they are, because there are legitimate lazy people out there. There are legitimate people who are siphoning the system, siphoning you as an individual who was helping them, and they should be dealt with accordingly, whatever accordingly means. But in general, I think that these videos are really just like thought-provoking. Is it something to think about? Have you thought about how there are people here who do not want to be great and how that impacts you who wants to be great? Do you look at them with more compassion or not? Do you look at somebody who doesn't want to be great and think that they would be such an integral, excellent part of your greatness organization because they don't want to aspire for more? If I'm not mistaken, there is a law in the 48 Laws of Power, or one of those other types of books, I might misquote it, that says something about the lines of like, you don't want to find someone who is just as ambitious as you, just as driven and just as killer instincts as you, because they will leave. You want to find someone a little less motivated than you, but still motivated to do their job well, so you can retain them long term, because it's all about long-term growth, right? It's all about scalability. So if you're dealing with a bunch of Elon Musks and you think that you're going to build an organization of Elon Musks, do you not understand that Elon Musk is going to sell and leave PayPal? He's going to sell and leave this. He's going to go off and want to buy Twitter. He's going to want to go do these other things because he has innovation, inspiration, and greatness in him. And that's something to think about. So, as always, if you got anything from this video, it is to keep thinking, maybe show some more compassion to your fellow person who is not as motivated or great as you are in your definition of greatness. I'm not saying that they're less than, but maybe they are not the fish in the pond. They're the monkey in the tree, and their life is going to look different. Hopefully it doesn't sound dumb. So until next time.
Yeah, say that to me. Yeah, say that. Yeah, say that to me. Oh, marathon. You can say that to me. Yeah, say that. You can say that to me.